Hi guys, it's Chad Fritzinger with Koehler Marvin Realty. I am a local associate real estate broker in the Lehighton area. I do actually live in the Palmerton area, so we are based in Carbon County. We do a lot of business in the Monroe County and Lehigh County and Northampton counties as well. Right now we are unable to sell real estate because of the current state of this coronavirus. So I wanted to kind of give you guys a quick video on what things you might be able to do while you're at home on your house to kind of up the value and help it to sell if you are trying to sell this year or maybe next or in the future. So there's a couple things to think about when you're looking to sell your home. I like to think about the curb appeal being the most important thing when looking to list your home for sale on the market. And there's a couple reasons why. One, I think that sellers are shopping online a lot. I know this is the case. I'm sure a lot of you are shopping online. And when you do that, you're looking through a ton of listings on online websites and just scrolling through the pictures of those listings. And normally the first picture that you see is going to be the front picture of the house. So the front curb appeal of your home is very important. That's the first thing people see on the internet. It's going to be the first thing they see when they drive by your house. And it's also going to be the first thing they see when they come to look at it and walk through that front door. So there's a couple homes that I pulled out that I've sold over the years that I think are some good examples of the good, the ugly, and the better homes that have a really good curb appeal, to kind of give you some examples. So I'm gonna flip my screen here in hopes to be able to show you this as best as I can. So I got 3 examples of each. We're gonna go over kind of what's good about them and what isn't. That way you guys can have a good idea of what we're talking about here. Okay, so this is the first house I wanted to talk about in terms of examples of homes that probably could use some improvement on their curb appeal. After you're looking at this, you're probably thinking to yourself, yes, I agree totally. It needs some help with the curb appeal. Some people might think it's fine. The seller of this house thought it was just fine. And I think we could have gotten more money for it if we would have improved the curb appeal. So the first thing I will point out, and one of the most important things I feel like in the curb appeal of a home, is going to be that front door. So as you can see, the front door really blends into the rest of the house. It does not stand out at all. It's got kind of a just normal screen door on it. And I think this house could have greatly benefited from a fresh coat of paint on that front door at the very least, or possibly a new front door with a new screen door there. And another thing to add there with the front doors is a lot of times we can throw a reef on there to add some color and really pop that front door. And also you want to look at the knob on the front door. The handle is very important too. If it's a really dinged up, rusty old handle, you probably want to replace that, because that's the first thing that people touch as they open your door to your house. As you can see, the grass wasn't mowed. There should be some new mulch in that front bed there, and maybe paint those steps or improve that front entrance a little bit with those steps. You see some missing shutters there. So there's a couple things here that I think, maybe trim up these bushes a little bit so it gives it a lot better appeal as you drive by the front of the house. Possibly paint that garage door. So there's a couple things people could do to improve the front curb appeal of this home. Okay, so here's the second house that I wanted to show you guys, which the curb appeal on this place is horrendous, as you can see. But it's actually, inexpensive things that would make a huge difference here at this house. And most of this is pretty obvious. It needs the bushes cut or removed, possibly some of them torn out, maybe replaced by some other bushes, some new mulch, maybe a little hardscaping in the front there. Grass obviously needs to be mowed. It was probably knee high when I took this picture. The deck definitely needs to be painted. There's actually flower boxes on the deck, no flowers in them, unfortunately. The front door, once again, that could be a huge advantage to paint that front door or possibly get a new front door there. The shutters on this house, I think, would be awesome if they were repainted, brighten them up, and make this house really shine. So a lot of people don't think about those shutters when they're selling their house, but they actually do make a big difference in the front curb appeal of the house. Okay, so here's the next place. This house is actually in Palmerton. Some people might know which one this is. It's a pretty popular house. The first thing I want to talk about here is those darn awnings. Awnings are out. I don't know what the real rationale for them, probably just to keep sun off the inside of the house at the windows and off the porch. But there are new innovative ways of doing that, so I don't believe that awnings are a good thing for the fronts of houses any longer. If you have awnings, I don't want to offend you, but it might be something to consider removing or possibly redoing to make look a little bit more aesthetically pleasing from the curb appeal of the house. Also in the front of this house, you can't really see the front door, so the front door isn't as impactful, but that garage door is a big impact of the front curb appeal of this house, and that staircase going up. So the garage door, could be replaced and probably painted to make a brighter impression there and give this house a little more color. Obviously that puke yellow siding is not a great color for siding. That should really be replaced as well. If you can see in the front there, that flower bed they have there is needing repair, and a new mulch put in, some new flowers would make a huge difference to this house. Also, this big pine tree here, not necessary, but probably could be something to think about removing to give the front of this house a little bit more curb appeal to it. So just some pointers there. Some things that maybe people don't consider when they're looking at repairing some things in the front of their home. So I showed you guys the bads. Now I want to kind of look at some of the good features of some of the houses that had some really nice curb appeal that I think you guys might enjoy. So bear with me here. Okay, so here's the first one I pulled out. This is actually in town Palmerton. Some people might be familiar with this house. But anyway, I picked this out as a pretty good example of a good curb appeal of a home. Now, not the best, but I do think it has some really good features. So the landscaping here is pretty decent. Maybe could use a little mulch around the tree in the front there. There's some flowers in the flower bed. Beautiful pink flower on the porch, which adds some contrast and color, which is great for this house. The yellow windows, they probably could be toned down a little bit, maybe made a little bit more neutral, but I do think they had a big impact on this and brought some color to the front of the house, which was really nice. And another thing you notice is the American flag there. That brings a ton of color to the house, and it really makes the house shine, I think, when you're looking at the front. Front door on this house is pretty good too. It's kind of shaded under the porch, so you don't see it too much. But this is a great example of some good curb appeal on actually a pretty inexpensive home actually. So one good option of curb appeal here. Okay, so here's another option. This house is actually over by Beltsville Lake in Lehighton School District. So this is an example of great curb appeal in my opinion. Probably could be a little bit better, but it is pretty good, and it I think got this house sold pretty quickly. So you have some colorful hanging flowers there, which are awesome. It contrasts the greenery that's around. The bushes are all meticulously trimmed. They did great edging there in the mulch, as you can see. fresh mulch in the beds, which makes a huge difference. Grass is mowed. You know, the front of this house really looks nice. The front door, once again, is kind of shaded under the porch, so you can't see it too well. But when you walked in, it actually was green, just like the shutters, so it actually looked very nice. And if you can see, you can kind of see there is a little bit of a wreath on the door there, so that added some color also. You'll also notice that little white fence on the porch there. That actually helps a little bit for contrast and color. The red bushes here on the left are very helpful also. So this is another good example of some curb appeal here. You don't have to get quite so crazy with this amount of bushes, but I think a couple are very helpful, and it just makes the house look very clean and fresh from the outside. And colorful is always good too. You just want to be careful not to do any crazy colors that somebody might not like. You want to stick neutral. So here's another option of another house that has, in my opinion, some great curb appeal going on. So as you drive by this house, this is what you see when you pull up the front. And some of the things I want to point out that I think made this house sell so quickly. I think this sold in about 2 weeks. So it wasn't on the market barely any time. It was a really quick sale. In the winter here, this picture was taken. So there is possibility to get some good curb appeal in the winter time. As you can see, they have some evergreen plants there, which do help to bring some color on the outsides. They use some stone and did have some mulch in the bed there, some fresh mulch that was helpful. The lighting on this house, I think, also makes a big difference. We haven't talked about lighting yet, and I think outdoor lighting is very important. It does help in the evenings with your house, and it also helps with the front picture, as you can see here. The sellers took initiative and put the wreath on the side of the house here. They had the skis up on the porch with the skis on the door there. I think that made a huge difference as well. The shutters on this house are looking really good and sharp and crisp. So the front door actually matches the shutters as well, which is nice. So this house has some great curb appeal, in my opinion, even in the middle of winter. I'm sure in the spring it would have even been better. But this is an example of some really great curb appeal. Well, thanks for joining me in that informational little video on the curb appeal of houses and how that's impactful. I do think it's super important, and a lot of people seem to forget about it. They start fixing up the insides of their homes and forget about the most important part, which is that front and the curb appeal of the house. So if you have any further questions, feel free to comment in the video below. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel if you'd like. And I'd also love to help you sell your house. If you are looking for a realtor, feel free to give us a call, 610-377-8000, and ask for Chad Fritzinger. Thank you.